All right, good morning and welcome to the City of Cudahy Republic Services Trash Workshop. My name is Raul Mazariegos. I'm the Community Preservation Manager. We have our city staff would be Raul Diaz. He's our Public Works Director, along with our Superintendent Aurelio Trujillo. And then from Republic, we have Steven, who is our Area Manager. And then we have Pilar, who is our new municipal relationship manager. And we have Ruben, and he's our municipal supervisor from Republic Services. So now I'll pass it along to Stephen.
Great, good morning. Thank you for the introduction. As was mentioned, my name is Stephen Herring. I'm the area manager for Republic Services. And here today, we're going to talk about a few items that are available to the general public, as well as introduce a few new things. So looking forward to the discussion. Okay. So to introduce Republic Services, we've been the longtime partner for the city of Cudahy with a partnership that dates back to the 90s. Our local office is in Long Beach, so that's where the trucks start every day. And then we have an experienced union team that services the city every single week. Republic Services is a large environmental services company, and we have every aspect of trash. So we have recycling facilities, organics processing facilities, as well as landfills, plastic polymer centers, and more. Pilar, did you want to do a translation?
Republic Services ha sido asociado con la ciudad de Cudahy desde los 90s. Tenemos una oficina local en la ciudad de Long Beach. Tenemos drivers que tienen experiencias con la Unión y que son ayudan a nuestro servicio. Tenemos diferentes servicios en la ciudad, por ejemplo, facilidades de reciclaje, de orgánicos. Recientemente tenemos un lugar que es donde se lleva todo lo del plástico, que es el Plastic Polymer Center. Y tenemos también landfills grandes cerca en Sunshine.
And to introduce the team, we have 3 representatives here, as was mentioned. So Stephen, Pilar, and Ruben. There's also additional members of the team that play key roles in making sure that we service the city of Cudahy. Jason Bond is our general manager. Aaron Schoonover is the operations manager. And then Danae and Janelle are sustainability advisors who are working with the business community to increase recycling and organics processing.
También tenemos en referencia a Stephen Herring, que es el manejador de la área municipal. También tenemos a Ruben Martínez, que es el supervisor de municipales. Me acabo de llegar en la ciudad de Long Beach. Pilar Mejía, que soy la manager municipal. Como Jason Bond, que es el general de nuestra unidad. Como también tenemos a Danae y a Janelle. Ellas son las sustainability advisors que le decimos. Ellas van a la ciudad a hacer los servicios de los comerciales o residentes o ayudar al público si tiene alguna pregunta en referencia de nuestros servicios.
So let's talk about some of the programs that we offer. Trash and recycling services are picked up every single week. Soon, as we work with city staff, we will have organics services available, which is yard waste and food waste, which can be recycled at the curb. Additionally, there's free bulk services that occurs on Wednesday. And this is for residential and multifamily properties. So small multi-units as well as apartment complexes do have free bulk available on Wednesdays. There are a few rules, however. First, bulk should not be set out before 6 p.m. on Tuesday, which is the night before bulk pickup. There shouldn't be any set outs on Monday, none over the weekend, just on Tuesday after 6 p.m., and collection will occur that Wednesday. Additionally, we offer free container exchange programs, and this is something that we want to make very clear. If your container is damaged, if it has graffiti on it, or for any other reason it needs to be replaced or repainted, call us. Our phone number is listed on these slides, 800-299-4898. All you'll need to do is provide your address, and then we will schedule an exchange for free to get you a new container. And that's part of us doing our part to help keep the city of Cudahy clean and beautiful.
Uno de los programas que ofrecemos en la ciudad de Cudahy, además de la basura y reciclaje, servicios semanales, también muy pronto vamos a tener los servicios del programa de orgánicos, que pueden poner los desechos de comida en contenedores verdes, donde puede ir también cosas como las hojas de árboles, zacate, para más o menos. También tenemos el servicio de cosas vulnerables, por ejemplo, sofás, refrigeradores, cosas grandes que uno quiere sacar de su casa. Es gratis para los residentes y también para las propiedades multifamiliares. Y ese servicio será los miércoles. Nada más las cosas no pueden estar afuera antes de las 6 de la tarde, el día anterior, que sea el martes, si no pueden ocurrir multas. Otra cosa que también estamos ofreciendo son en cambios de sus contenedores. A veces se quiebran o tienen graffiti, los pueden llamar al 1-800-299-4898 para poner una orden de cambiar el contenedor gratis. Si cualquier otro servicio, es el teléfono donde se pueden comunicar con nosotros y alguien le puede asistir.
All right, continuing on with bulk guidelines. So this is some of the recommended practices of how bulk should be placed out and kind of how the appearance should look when it's placed out. So as we mentioned, bulk occurs on Wednesday and there's no extra charge. Any services or fees are paid for by your monthly bill. There's no more than 10 items that should be put out for pickup. So think about that, of just 10 pieces. We're not building piles or large piles of bulk materials. No setup before 6 p.m. on Tuesday, and then no construction or hazardous materials. So that would be like bricks or concrete. That material should not go out for bulk. There's two images on the screen. The top image is it's more than 10 items. It's a large pile. That would be incredibly difficult and unsafe for the drivers to pick up. Where if you look at the bottom picture, the materials are organized, they're to the curb, and that would be easy for the drivers to pick up.
Las cosas vulnerables van a ser una vez por semana, como dijimos, para residentes y locaciones multifamiliares, propiedades aquí en Cudahy. Se puede quedar cada miércoles, como dijimos anteriormente, tienen que estar las cosas afuera un día antes, no más temprano de las 6 de la tarde. En las fotos que tenemos, en la foto de arriba, son las cosas como no se pueden poner. Mínimas de cosas se pueden poner afuera son 10 cosas por semana. La única cosa que no se pueden recoger son cosas de construcción, por ejemplo, palos o cosas que se vienen de construcción o cosas, por ejemplo, pintura. Eso no se va a recoger, solamente cosas que salen de la casa.
Next is overloaded containers. So all the material that is set out for collection should fit in the containers, and material that is overloaded, so if the lids don't close or material is outside of the container, those would be subject to a fine. And we'll talk more about that on the next slide. So all materials should fit in your container with the lids closed. And the reason for that is when material is overloaded, it has a higher likelihood of spilling and creating mess, as well as material going to the sewers or storm drains. And then second, it also fills up the trucks quicker. And so that they need to leave route and go and empty the contents. And sometimes that can lead to the routes not being finished because of material that is being loaded into the trucks.
Esto más bien aplica para para negocios o multifamiliares que tienen contenedores grandes. Vamos a ver algo como miren en las maquetas. Si el contenedor está más lleno, no se cierra la tapa, entonces pueden ser sujeto de que había un extra cargo vamos a decir que es un extra yards. Los drivers usualmente toman fotos y si hay cargos, porque si es más, será puede salir en su bill del siguiente mes. Pero siempre pueden llamar a la oficina a preguntar por una foto para asegurarse que sí es verdad. Una de las cosas que también estamos haciendo, que no mencionó Steven, es cada vez que alguien pone demasiado basura en sus contenedores y el driver lo reporta, siempre va a haber alguien que les va a llamar para ver si necesitan más servicio, si tenemos que cambiar el tipo de servicio que tienen para asegurarse que al siguiente semana o no estén recurriendo esos extra cargos, usualmente en los mensuales. Pero mientras que la basura puede cerrar el contenedor, está bien, ya que si tienen demasiado pueden ocurrir extras cargos en su bill.
So starting in January, there is a new program that's coming into place to help reduce the early bulk setup, the excessive bulk set out, as well as overloaded containers. So this is explaining the processes and the fines that are associated with that. So any instance of these occurrences, so excessive bulk, overloaded containers, or anything like that, you will receive a warning. A warning will look like a tag. We have a form of it in draft. Unfortunately, it was not completed for today, but there would be a notice left for the resident or the business indicating what the problem was, and then instructions on how to fix that and make sure that there's no fines that occur. So on the residential side, there's 3 stages of a fine or fee that can occur. $25 for the first occurrence, $50 for the second, and then $75 for those that continue to occur. On the commercial side, it's $50 for the first occurrence, $75 for the second, and $100 for the third and beyond. And what's a little different on the commercial side is what we find is that the service level does not always equal what the business needs. So for example, if a container is picked up 1 time a week, but it's always overloaded, that business most likely should have 2 time a week service. So if a business receives 3 overage notices within a 3-month period or 1 quarter, then we will work with the city and the customer to right size that bin and increase service or increase the size of the container, which will make sure that there's no future fines. There will be a notice that comes out in the coming months of this introduction of the program. And then the intention is to start the warning and enforcement as soon as January 1, 2025.
Empezando enero del año que viene, del 2025, va a empezar un nuevo política para los residentes y comerciales que tengan contenedores que tengan exceso de basura. Usualmente, la primera vez, aunque sea residente o comercial, se le va a dejar un tag en el contenedor diciendo que hubo extra basura, exceso de basura en su contenedor. Una foto, pueden llamar a la oficina a pedir una foto, si es cierto, para que le enseñen. Pero si sigue pasando, para los residenciales, la primera multa será $25. Si vuelve a pasar, será $50 y luego $75. Siempre pueden llamar si necesitan un contenedor extra o que sea de basura, de reciclaje o de orgánicos. Eso no es problema, nos pueden llamar al número que proveímos anteriormente del 1-800. Para comercial, los negocios de comercial o multifamiliares que tienen los contenedores grandes de metal, lo mismo, son $50 por la primera, vamos a decir como multa por tener acceso de basura, usualmente si es más suficiente de que no se puedan servir las tapas. La segunda vez 75, tercera vez es $100. Si en un periodo de 3 meses siguen llenando de basura, por ejemplo, si tiene una vez por semana, y si cada vez por semana tienen más de 1 yarda o 2 yardas, uno les puede llamar para si quieren servir, tener más servicio para ayudarles con eso. O alguien le llamará para decirle más o menos qué clase de servicios pueden tener para ayudar con esos extra recursos que le dan. Pero esto va a empezar desde enero del 2025.
And if I may, Stephen, real quick, just so I can clarify, commercial business includes businesses and multifamily properties with 4 or more units. Just so we're clear.
Yes, thank you. All right, so as a recap, we wanted to introduce and make sure that the residents and businesses are aware that you can have free container exchange. So any graffiti or damaged containers get exchanged for free. Just give us a call and we will schedule it. We reminded folks of the bulk guidelines and the reminder of not putting items out before Tuesday at 6 p.m. Collection occurs on Wednesday. And we explained the detail of the upcoming fee charges for overloaded and incorrect bulk setup. So thank you, and we will take any questions.
Si tienen alguna pregunta en referencia a lo que acabamos de hablar,
Quería hacerle una observación con respecto a la basura con los containers. Ponen el container, se supone que es para los residentes de nosotros, de Cudahy, ¿verdad? Pero viene gente de otras partes y los llena con pura basura de construcción. Y yo creo que eso no es justo, porque se supone que son containers para que la gente de Cudahy los use para la basura. Pero aquí viene mucha gente, como el container está solo, nomás llegan y avientan las rocas, y muchos constructores, en lugar de ir a pagar por tirar la basura allá, pues vienen ponen en el container, y los containers se ponen, lógicamente, se ponen llenos, pero no es los residentes que están poniendo la basura ahí. Como el container está solo llegan y avientan la basura ahí. Y con respecto también y antes, me acuerdo que antes ponían a alguien que les pidiera una identificación de la manera correcta para tirar la basura ahí. Si vi aquí en Cudahy, está bien, porque es para los residentes de Cudahy. Pero no, vienen la gente que conocen ahí les dicen y vienen y echan toda la basura ahí de la construcción. Y el container lo va a mirar usted que está lleno. Estaría, pues sí, está lleno, pero no es de la gente de aquí de Cudahy. Es gente que viene de otro lado a tirar la basura.
so,
Pues sería todo, y también le quería hacer una observación, que yo vivo por la Laibo, y ya mi bote ya está deshecho, ya no puedo poner basura, ya no tiene fondo, ya está, y nunca me lo han cambiado. El de la tienda me lo cambiaron hace como 2 años, pero porque estuve hablando y hablando y hablando hasta que me hicieron caso. Pero el de la casa no, me dijeron que lo van a cambiar y nunca lo han cambiado.
mire, si quiere antes de que nos vayamos, puedo tomar su dirección. No lo diga ahorita, le tomo la
Ok.
dirección y yo me encargo y luego yo le llamo para atrás antes del final del día.
Ok.
Y mire, desafortunadamente siempre ha sido cosas así, de que hay otra gente que mira contenedores grandes y pone. Lo único que le puedo decir es que si quiere puede ponerle candado, podemos cambiar el contenedor con un candado, eso se puede hacer. Desafortunadamente siempre eso pasa en todas las ciudades, de que otra gente viene y pone basura, especialmente cuando ven contenedores grandes. Si nos puede llamar o podemos ayudarle a poner el contenedor en otra locación si tiene, podemos ayudarle, pero
Ok.
En referencia de que si lo ponen uno, el driver no sabe. So el driver cuando va allí piensa que es lo que están depositando. Ah,
Pero sí sabemos que hay un problema con los contenedores que están afuera en la calle. Estamos trabajando directamente con la compañía de la basura y estamos tratando de que en vez de que el bote esté afuera de mucho tiempo, estamos tratando de que lo meten inmediatamente cuando den servicio de la basura.
Y luego también la otra observación que he hecho con la basura es que cuando recogen la basura, el día que la recogen la basura bien, pero al siguiente día la gente está sacando la basura afuera y ahí está el basural. Y luego hay personas que no sacan una vez, tienen toda la bowl llena de basura. Y entonces esa basura, lógico, que ustedes la recogen, por ejemplo, si la recogen el jueves, la basura va a durar ahí hasta el otro jueves, todo el basural ahí en la banqueta.
ujú.
Deberían de darles un warning o hacer alguna cosa, porque cómo va a permanecer la basura ahí toda la semana. Y la gente, no, la gente, por más que les dicen ellos, la gente aquí no entienden. Le dicen, el día que pasa la basura la saca, pero no, si pasa la basura, al siguiente día sacan camas y todo el basural con la banqueta ahí. Porque a mí me toca en la tarde, camino por las calles un rato en la tarde y yo miro ese basural aquí, atravesado toda la gente.
Sí, gracias. Y por eso estamos teniendo este taller para así educar, por decir, y enforzar también lo que está pasando para evitar que estén estos bulcos de material afuera,
Pues, sí,
de basura.
Ahorita también estamos trabajando en poner muy pronto lo que le hicimos tabling, ir a hacer casi como un taller, más bien donde está la comunidad para educarlos de los nuevos servicios que estamos ofreciendo, la manera que tienen que disponer de sus cosas vulnerables, no más de 10. Yo pienso que mientras que nosotros estemos trabajando con la ciudad y estemos comunicando con la comunidad los nuevos servicios y cómo tiene uno que disponer de sus basuras o de cosas, poco a poquito van a estar cambiando esas cosas. Pero miren, si referencia de cambiar de contenedores o si quiere ponerle un candado, si nos llama, y como le digo, yo le voy a dar mi teléfono, se puede comunicar conmigo y yo con placer lo puedo ayudar y así puedo tomar más cuáles son sus preocupaciones y cómo le podemos ayudar a usted.
y el otro problema que le digo también que existe en la basura es que cuando va a pasar la basura, okay, la gente pone los botes, pero llegan y se parquean y avientan los botes para medio de la calle.
Yeah.
Avientan para medio de la calle. En veces a mí me toca en mi casa, en veces pongo yo mis botes afuera y alguien se va a parquear y me los avienta para la calle, me los avienta para la calle, donde no tengo que andarlos en medio de la calle, los botes, porque la gente usa el parqueadero para parquearse. Y un día le dije a un señor, dijo, oye, pero si es un solo día, le digo, que usamos para la basura. No, dijo, si la calle es de todos, ¿por qué más? Oye, es de todos, pero es el día de la basura, que tenemos que poner los botes de la basura afuera. Pero no entienden, por más que les dice uno, no entienden. Y ya cuando sale uno, ya están todos los botes atravesados en la calle, en medio de la calle. Yo no sé si puedan hacer algo al respecto de eso, pero pues, como aquí en la Santana también, usted va a mirar el día que sacan la basura, va a mirar usted los botes en medio de la calle, y el tráfico está que no puede mover, pasar.
Que estamos trabajando en cómo sacar cómo trabajar con la comunidad en referencia de eso. Se entiende, pero muchas gracias por dejarnos saber cuáles son en manera en que podemos asistirlo. Yo, como le digo, con mucho gusto voy a tomar su teléfono y su dirección y podemos hablar después, si quiere. Muchas gracias, señor Ramírez.
Hi, good morning. Two questions. So, what actions is the city gonna be taking to implement or to enforce, to enforce what is going on, what he just mentioned?
So again, we're working closely with the Republic along with our Public Works Department, so like that we can educate our residents. So like that we can avoid the scenarios that our resident just mentioned.
So they will be cited?
They would be
property
issued a
owners, so-
warning at first, and then obviously they'll be getting cited. But we will be working with Republic and Public Works, just like that we can make sure that we are letting our residents know not to have bulky items out, have the trash cans out in the middle of the street. So we're trying to figure out a way on how to better get these services in a safe way.
I'm sorry. So, vamos a empezar a mandar como folletos con la información en referencia de lo que usted estaba diciendo en cómo poner la distancia donde tienen que estar los contenedores. Me imagino que eso es muy importante. Yo sé que usted lo puso, pero los folletos que van a estar saliendo muy pronto va a tener toda esa información para comunicarnos con la comunidad en el día de la basura, que no se puede sacar las cosas grandes antes de las 6 de la tarde y la mejor práctica de cómo disponer de sus basuras y cosas bonadosas. So, estamos ahorita trabajando en folletos que muy pronto van a salir. También vamos a tener lo que se dicen advisors, que van a estar viniendo en la ciudad a hablar con los residentes y gente comerciales para educarlos de los nuevos servicios que van muy pronto a observar la compañía de Republic. So, estamos trabajando muy junto con la ciudad para asegurarnos que cualquier problema que hemos tenido ahorita o alguna pregunta le podemos ayudar a todos.
Question number 2, sorry. Who should we contact if we have hazardous materials?
Yeah, for that, that should be City Hall. And then we'll direct them to the proper agency.
Is that
And-
information provided to the community?
Yes, it's on the flyer.
Tenemos folletos por la entrada que también tiene tipo de servicios que estamos ofreciendo y las cosas que hablamos ahora con más detalles.
Oh, and
Yeah.
if there's any participants on Zoom that want to ask a question, please raise your hands and I can unmute you. Si hay un participante que quiera hablar o tiene preguntas, por favor, levante la mano on Zoom y pueda hablar.
Okay, so it looks like we don't have any other questions. So our main thing for this workshop is, another question? Okay, sorry.
One more question.
I have a question on regards to the fines. Once you start charging those, how are you gonna be charging them? And they need to be paid before they continue with the service, or what happens if they don't pay them?
So that one.
Thank you for the question. So the fines would be added to the invoice with the account that's set up with Republic Services. So how the bill is paid today would be how the fee or fine would be added to. And then as far as collection efforts or anything like that, it would be the same as it is today. So there is a grace period, I believe, of 60 days before there would be a stoppage of service or anything like that. But yeah, the fee would go to the regular invoice.
City fines gonna be in the same invoicing, or how are we? Or
Yeah, well, thanks, Stephen, for describing Republic's structure for the fines and citations. I think that was really well explained. I think on the city side, we really haven't heard about what the fine structure and how the processing for those fines will occur. So could you discuss how the city will implement fines, the rates, just so the public is aware of that, the city, in addition to Republic, right, may receive additional fines from the city, right? So it's two separate types of fees that we're talking about, right? So maybe can we explain and elaborate on that?
Yes, thank you for that. So yes, once Republic issues the fines, then the city will get involved and then they'll issue the city fines as well. And so our fines will be $100 for a first violation, $200 for the second violation, and then $500 for the third violation. But what we're gonna do is obviously letting Republic issue the fines first, and if we see that we don't get no compliance, and that's when the city will get involved and start with their enforcement as well.
I just want to add one thing. Usually when we see extra yardage or overfill containers, especially a multifamily, it's usually because someone is moving in or out, or there's a cleanup. Our representatives will call customers right away. So one of the things that we do when it's more than 2 or 3 reoccurrences, we like to reach out to customers just to ensure they have the right service. And that's when we either find out someone is moving in or moving out, they're cleaning up, so they don't need the additional service. Now, if we see that it's more, and then we provide different type of service to help them with the extra yardage to ensure that that doesn't happen again. So we do reach out to everyone, and usually when it's the first occurrence, we'll work with them and let them know, okay, well, maybe we can monitor for you, we can work with you. It's just to ensure that they're not getting those extra fees that of course no one wants, right? So those are the things that we're doing. We're constantly checking those extra yardage, the overflows, to ensure that we're working with our community to ensure that they don't get this. No one wants to get an extra charge from their bills. I know I don't. So right now, that's what we do with all our cities, and we want to make sure we do that here with our community.
Right, thank you. And the whole point is to keeping Cudahy clean and beautiful.
Absolutely. Son referencia de los cargos para contenedores que tienen basura extra. Fotos siempre van a ver, pero cuando un cliente es más de una vez, 2 veces, usualmente van a recibir una llamada para ver si necesitan más servicio, o quizá alguien, vamos a ir por un apartamento, alguien se está moviendo, o está entrando, está limpiando su casa, y cosas así ocurren. Pero siempre vamos a tener encargo de que si alguien tiene demasiada basura, claro, nadie quiere tener más cargos en su bill. Vamos a llamarles para ver si hay algún servicio a modificar el servicio que tienen ahorita, para asegurarse que no tengan esos extras cargos en sus facturas.
Thank you for that. Another question. So we've heard about the fines and citations and the noticing, but who is responsible for maintenance of trash on private property, right? So when we talk about, let's say, multifamily, 20-unit building, right? Who are we talking about that will be receiving the fines? Who will be receiving the notices? Who will who will the city be contacting to make sure that the site is being maintained adequately and that they're responsible for trash? Who are we talking about?
We will reach out to the account holder, the property manager, as well. So one will be the person on the account, which will have the phone number. We can send letters to where it's getting billed. We do have, when things like this that reoccurred, one of the things that we do is send our sustainability advisors to see if we can speak to someone on site to ensure they're using the containers properly. So there will be either a call, email, of course, a bill, and someone in person if needed. We also will have our sustainability advisors to come out and do on-site training if it's required. If they asked us to go and train their tenants, we'll be more than happy. We do it right now. It could be in the evening or it could be on the weekend. So we'll be able to do that. But to answer your question, it will be the account holder.
Yeah, unless we see that the individual or the person that's causing the trash is a tenant, then we'll go straight to the tenant, issue them a warning, and then we'll go from there.
As a homeowner, I don't receive a bill, so until I see the bill on my property taxes, which is a year later. So how would you notify us, as far as like if there's a warning or there's a bill? I mean, because we're gonna be surprised a year later about all these charges if there's several.
And that's what I meant by the fees, if they're gonna be, how are they gonna be aware of it, if it's gonna be in the next pickup.
So As far as notification goes, we have a tag that is currently in development that would be available in English and Spanish that all of our drivers, supervisors, and sustainability advisors will have access to. So there will be no charge that occurs without a notice that's given. So first, there would be a warning that would explain what the problem is. And then it would say, if this occurs again, you'll receive another instance, and it'll actually have a check mark on there that this was your first full occurrence, and there will be a charge of $25 added to your account. Now, as far as the notification and like how the bill gets applied to the tax roll and all of those pieces, I want to say that that's something that we will have to get more detail and communicate that to the public. That's something that we need to work through with staff. On the container itself.
See, if you place the notice on the container, one, it could either fly away depending on how secure it is. Or two, somebody that's passing by can just take it off. And so when will I see the notice, or when will I know that there is a problem before I receive my tax bill the year later?
So we're able to see, so we get a report from our billing team that let us know, how many, who within whatever city it is have extra yardage. Perhaps we can work on that. If we see that, let's say your location had more than two, we'll reach out to you. So you'll know. So that's something that we continue to work, and not only with the businesses, but residential, and this is, as you say, you won't see it until your tax roll. If we see your location on that report more than once, then you'll receive a call, and, just to ensure that you are getting in photos is needed, you'll have that as well. So you'll be informed before, it becomes a surprise at the end of the year.
And regarding the notification tags, we do these across the market and country, and they stay on. They're typically it's a thick card stock, so it can survive even rain if it's raining. But then we have metal twist ties that attach it to the container, so they will not blow off. The only instance where you would not see that would be what you described, is if somebody walked by and physically removed it. Yeah.
Sorry, I just think as a homeowner that has tenants, I think it would be better and more efficient to have it actually mailed to the homeowner, excuse me, instead of having it on the container, because, that way there's more, it's more secure, I guess. It's more secure that we actually receive it. Because let's say if it's a property owner that doesn't live on the premises, because we have several of those. I fortunately do live on the premises, so I'm in the front house, so I would probably be able to see it. But I'm just speaking like putting myself in someone else's shoe. If it's a property owner that does not live on the premises, the tenants probably don't want the property owner to be aware of this, so they themselves will take it off. So when is the property owner going to be aware? Until, again, they get the tax bill. So, you have to see all these other instances. Yes, they're trying to inform, but at the same time, if the tenants are the ones that are creating these issues, you can't really hold the landlord accountable for not having received the information when they had no control over it.
Yeah, thank you, Susie. And this is where the city comes in, city staff comes in, and will let the property owners and managers know, because ultimately, it is a property and owner and manager's responsibility to make sure that their tenants are in fact abiding by the trash rules and stuff like that. So we will give you property owners and our managers, notices as well as we're giving them to the tenants. But ultimately, just remember, it is the property owners and manager's responsibility to keep track of their tenants.
I have a question. In addition to the tag that is gonna be left on the trash can, can Republic Services notify the owner, through a letter?
So we do have some capabilities that we can discuss, and I think that's really good feedback. So thank you for speaking up and voicing that. I think we can continue the conversation of some alternative methods of how we can navigate that and make sure that notifications are being processed. So as we work through the process, once it's finalized and set, that will be the information that gets mailed to every residence and business and multifamily property.
¿Alguna pregunta más?
Any other questions?
Sure.
I just want to say, I'm glad that it's finally being done because yes, Cudahy needs to be cleaned. And as Raul knows, I've always said, we need to hold the property owners, managers accountable. But I just want to make sure that it's done in a fair way. And it's not, holding them accountable for something there was no way of them knowing unless they're there on their property or consistently going to their property and checking like they should be. But as you know, a lot of them do not live here and do not do that. So I just want to make sure.
We appreciate your comments and we're definitely taking that in and make sure that we do our best to ensure that we communicate and help the community to stay clean. One of the things is not that we want to, put fines just to put fines, but that does not solve the problem. We want to make sure that we do our part as well to educate, and you'll see more Republic staff around the city, making sure that we're out here in the community to educate the best practices. So I'm committed to do that. So yeah, I welcome you guys to call. Let us know your thoughts, how we can help, and what is the need so that we can do that ourselves and help out. And again, we do flyers. I'm sure it's your concerns. We want to make sure we address them. So I do appreciate you. Thank you.
And we do have a question on Zoom. One moment.
Hello?
Hi, good morning. So the question is coming from George from Track 180. Go ahead, sir.
Yes. Does any of this that's being discussed, which, by the way, thank you for having this meeting, affect, say, a business of our nature where we just have a very small dumpster? There's no food waste, all this is just trash. We don't even fill up the dumpster, not even to a quarter. So does any of this affect us in any way?
Thank you for the question, George. This is Stephen with Republic Services. The short answer is no. If you're not overloading your container, and this isn't an issue for you at this time, then you will see no difference or impact. This is intended for, like if you had a very small cart or a small dumpster at your business and you were consistently overflowing or had trash outside of the container, then this would be relevant to you. But it sounds like you have the correct services for your business, so you should be all set.
Any other questions? ¿Alguna otra pregunta on Zoom?
Yeah, hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I wasn't finished with my question. I'll make it quick. To Stephen, would we be able to receive a reduced rate if we only had the trash hauler come out every other week? Because the majority of the time, our trash dumpster is not even a quarter filled.
Yeah, thanks for that follow-up. So we can work with you on the correct sizing. There may be some smaller dumpsters that are available to you that Pilar and our sustainability advisors can work with you on. The California rules and regulations require 1 time a week pickup as the minimum
Okay,
level. So we would just need to change the size of
well,
the container to match what you need.
Okay, that won't be necessary. As of right now, we have the smallest size dumpster available.
Okay,
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Cudahy staff.
Thank you.
thank you for the question.
Sure.
Alrighty, seeing no other questions, again, thank you guys for coming to the trash workshop. Again, I'm gonna emphasize keeping Cudahy clean and beautiful. That's the whole point.
Love it.
Thank you. And we will be hosting another trash workshop probably in the evening sometime in December, just so like that we can get some more business owners or residents to show up. Again, thank you. Anybody, if you guys have any other questions or comments?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, appreciate you having us out.
Yes.